Never up, never down, never. Like a theme in a song, clever. Feeling high, feeling low at the same time. Feels so right, then I'm wrong, hoping I'll be fine. But I get up, I always do. I never think, I always do. Never thought I wouldn't jump, oh what a fool. But if I fall, I will get up again.
Okay, I am back from Sierra Gorda. Good to be back after a 5 or 6 day trip. I am in downtown Arandas in Mexico, just outside of Guadalajara. Beautiful, beautiful little town, little pueblo here. And you could argue that this is the tequila capital of Mexico. I would strongly support that argument. There are many companies here that produce some beautiful tequila, so I will share with you in future videos some trips throughout tequila country here. But in the meantime, I want to wrap up these videos with you and share with you 10 tips that I've learned through my trip to Sierra Gorda. And a couple of problems, a couple of concerns that I had as well through my trip. So stay tuned. Hopefully I can learn something for my next trip, and I enjoy sharing these things with you as well. So stay tuned for 10 tips. One of the challenges I've had here in Mexico is this time of year is Mexican winter. It is early November, and it can be 4 or 5 degrees Celsius through the night. I live in the center of Mexico, and it can be a little bit colder because my altitude is quite a bit higher. If you recall, in Cuatro, Palos, the altitude was over 2,700 meters. That's like 9,000 feet altitude. So you got to be concerned about the cold in the morning, got to be concerned about the cold at night, and when it gets a little windy on the top of the mountains, boy, you got to be comfortable. And to do that, there's multiple ways that I do that. And in addition to having just the down-filled sleeping bag, I also have an insulated sleeping pad. You can also use a sleeping cot, which I now have as well from Helinox. And my hike and bike down-filled sleeping bag is pretty cool too. So try eating a little bit of oatmeal before you go to bed. Really hot oatmeal or hot tea inside your body. It's so good and comforting for you. And I drink a little bit of tequila, of course. Coincidental, I'm in the town of Tequila over the next few hours. I'm here visiting in the main square. Some people have told me a little bit of Metamucil as well, so make an effort to be super comfortable so that you can sleep very deeply at night. As riders, we all know how important it is to have a deep sleep at night. Make that a priority for you so that the next day you're awake, you're solid, you feel great, you feel alert, your brain is active, and you're not groggy when you're riding. There's nothing worse than feeling uncomfortable when you're riding a motorcycle. It's your safety that you're putting in your hands. So take the time and make it a top priority to sleep solid at night, and try these trip tips. I hope that they work for you. Hola. The next trip recommendation I have is my twig stove. It's so simple and it's so much fun, and it's endless fuel, and it folds flat. It's so compact, it's cheap. You don't have to worry about canisters. I've got 10 different canisters at home. I used to have a micro pocket fuel thing, stove thing, and they're all half full, my canisters. I used to worry about canisters all the time, so tripping over canisters. Twig stove, endless fuel, collect your twigs in a recyclable grocery bag at the campsite, and the whole family will have fun with it, just fueling your little twig stove through the evening. Boils water, takes a few minutes, it takes a little bit longer than the jet boil, I get it, but you'll have so much fun with your twig stove. Highly, highly recommended. I love it. Good luck. Okay, let's talk about fire starters for a minute. You know, I've had little experience with this, and you know, when I get to a campsite, basically, I don't want to mess around too much. Like, I have maybe limited patience for these things, but the cotton balls with Vaseline work fine. Of course, if you have the ability to scope your campsite and find some dry twigs or birch bark or maybe even paper and use a fire steel and spark, that's okay. It's kind of a little bit more manly way to do it, I guess. But I use these little sawdust squares, and they work beautifully, and they last a long time. They can even start wet wood. I'm not too interested when I get to my site about spending too much time messing around trying to start a fire. I do have a twig stove, as you know, and even then I just want to start it and forget about it. I'm usually tired at the end of the day, and the last thing I want to worry about is wet twigs and wet wood and having difficulty with all that. So what I recommend are these little fire squares. They're relatively cheap. I keep them in a plastic bag. You do have to put them away at night because a dog came by my campsite in Puente de Dios and ate half of them. They have an odor, so be conscious of that. You don't want any animals or chipmunks or raccoons or anything invading your campsite and coming to your campsite. You want to protect yourself and keep safe and keep your stuff safe as you travel. So try those little fire squares. Definitely highly recommended. Okay, my next recommendation is a folding saw. It's so simple, and it's so easy to make a pile of firewood. It's so fast. I never really understood people who have axes in their backpacks or in their panniers. And now I do have a small hatchet that I use actually to drive in tent pegs. But for actually collecting firewood, when I get to my campsite at night, I'm tired and I'm hungry, and I'm not going to mess around swinging an axe for a few hours trying to collect a few pieces of wood. Use a folding saw. It's so simple, so simple. I've got a large saw, I've got a small saw, compact, bottom of my dry bag, done deal. And I even have extra blades at home. Every once in a while, if I need to change the blade, it's okay. If it gets dull, change the blade. Super cheap, super easy. That's the way to go. That's my recommendation. My next recommendation is a reusable grocery bag. It sounds so simple, but throw your stuff in it. You put it in the bottom of a pannier. If you need to go to hike to your campsite, go to a hotel room in the rain, you want to throw your stuff in a bag, it's so convenient. It's sturdy, it's heavyweight. It's lightweight, it's cheap, and it's compact. What more could you possibly want as an adventure motorcycle rider? So I carry 2 or 3 with me in my panniers at all time. I use it to collect twigs from my twig stove. I've used it for firewood. It's fantastic, so versatile, so useful. And highly recommended. Get 2 or 3 in your panniers. I love it. It's a way to go.